7 years, the blue national ribbon has been a golden ticket in the Tauranga seat. Labour hasn't won here since the 1930s. Only Winston Peters has beaten National since. But Simon Bridges' resignation means the seat's wide open, with a by-election 2 weeks away. And Sam Uffindell, the new National candidate,
Have you met Sam? Oh, no, I haven't met Sam.
has to make an impression fast.
I'm not taking anything for granted, so I will be working as hard as I can right up through until the by-election.
Labour nearly won here in 2020, List MP and Cabinet Minister Jan Tinetti falling just a few percentage points short.
G'day sir, Cameron's my name, by the way.
And ACT's Cameron Luxton likes his prospects too.
I think my chances are high and increasing. We're getting so much momentum behind us, I think we are going to win this.
When Luxton launched his campaign in April, he pointed to ACT's internal polling, showing Tauranga voters saw them, not National, as the most effective party in opposition.
Have you done any more polling since? How are you going?
No, we haven't done any more polling. I'm sure Newshub would love to pay for some and get some done for us.
As a matter of fact, we did. Our exclusive Newshub Nation Reid research poll is the only public survey of Tauranga voters, and it shows National surging back. Uffindell, the overwhelming favourite, predicted to win 57% of the vote.
I'm not looking at the polls, I do not have it in the bag at all, and I would encourage everyone in Tauranga at home to please get out and vote.
Labour and Tinetti were just 2,000 votes from stealing the seat at the last election. But 2020's red wave has crashed in Tauranga. Tinetti down 16 points since then, at 22% in our poll.
Look, we're really realistic about our chances in this by-election.
Worse for Labour, the party vote's sinking, down 14 points as well.
We're seeing people's reaction to the fact that things have been tough for them. Their journey through COVID times has been tough.
ACT and Luxton have gained ground since the last election, from 4 to 7.4%. But it's nowhere near his predictions of winning. He trails Uffindell by 50%.
My polling has doubled since the 2020 election, which is a great result.
Former Tauranga councillor Andrew Hollis and his New Nation party are on 3.9%, while Outdoors and Freedom Party leader Sue Gray, a prominent face of the anti-mandate protests at Parliament, is on 3.4%, both less than this poll's margin of error. But there's still so much to play for. Nearly a third of voters are undecided, with 2 weeks to go till polling day.
I haven't really sorted who I'm going to vote for.
Really, I don't actually trust any of them.
Tauranga is New Zealand's 5th largest city. What was once a quiet destination for retirement is now our fastest growing place. And with that comes big city problems.
Number one, housing.
You just drive around here in the morning and see what a small city has to put up with.
Traffic is pretty bad.
There's also concern here over the council.
We want our city back.
And the Bay of Plenty's growing problem with gangs.
Now, we've probably all had our own experiences with gangs.
It drew a packed house at Tauranga Yacht Club for a national public meeting on gangs and crime. Gang numbers have swollen in the Bay of Plenty, so much so Uffindell claims there are twice as many gang members as cops.
That is a real concern for them, and it's a real concern for us here in the National Party.
So the new candidate has a novel solution to ban bikies tearing through town. A new members' bill to punish gang members for riding in convoys through the city, issuing fines or impounding bikes.
Frankly, it's just plain ridiculous that they should own the roads instead of normal people of New Zealand. So what this will do is give police the powers to stop them doing that.
The idea receives a rousing reception. But some in the audience have their doubts.
The solution is not with the police. The solution isn't even in Parliament. It's not on a bill. The solution is in the home.
And it's not at all clear how the bill would work.
How do you define a gang member for this?
Well, they'd be a member of an organised crime unit, and we know how to identify those, and there is already a register of gang members in New Zealand.
So it's people on the national gang list?
They make it easy for us by riding around with patches on their back displaying themselves.
Right, so if you're wearing a patch,
along.
then you'll be targeted by this law?
Not necessarily. I mean, people can wear patches at the moment, and generally they do because they like to show off who they are.
How specifically are you going to be able to say this is a gang member and their vehicle should be impounded?
Well, it's likely to fall back on that bit you pointed out before around that gang registry, that gang membership registry.
It also doesn't capture every gang member, so if you're not on the list, then you're okay?
Well, we'll do a bit of work around that. I mean, we haven't got across all the finer details yet.
Crime and punishment may be part of the picture, but Tanetti says the root causes of crime are important too.
To be a response and a consequence when people muck up and break the law, that is incredibly important. But alongside that, we need to ensure that we are working multi-agency with community.
Tanetti's seen the impact of inequality, a former principal of Merivale School in Tauranga, where the roll was 98% Māori and it's rated Decile 1.
I worked on the front line with families who were related to gangs in the area. And I'd have to say that not one of my parents wanted the same future for their kids.
Tanetti wants to focus on changing that future and claims the government has the job underway.
We have to create a pathway that's a more positive pathway for our young people than what we currently are. And I think that work is definitely being done.
It's an uphill battle in this by-election for the Minister for Women and Internal Affairs. A 22% share of the vote would be better than many previous Labour candidates have attracted in this national stronghold. A tough task made even tougher by testing positive for COVID-19 a week ago.
It's a whole week been out of campaigning, and to be fair, for the first half of that week I couldn't even concentrate on campaigning because I was really sick.
No such setbacks for the ACT candidate, Luxton pushing full steam ahead, winning supporters at his campaign launch.
I think he's lovely. Oh, he's got a long way to go to be as good as his leader, though.
Brand David Seymour is a popular drawcard, but it's no guarantee of votes.
So will you guys vote in this by-election?
Luxton is a builder seeking the beehive.
When I called you earlier this week, you were busy pouring concrete. That's not your typical path to politics. I mean, do you think you're qualified for this job?
Oh, yeah. I mean, what do we want for the representation of New Zealand? And we need to decide what that is. And I think it's real people.
And building up Tauranga is top of his list.
Tauranga has suffered because we've been put in the bottom drawer by the Blue Party and written off by the Red Party. So we never got the infrastructure we need.
Infrastructure at the heart of the contest in Tauranga.
The top priority is around roading and infrastructure.
The investment is happening and we're going to see some major changes in this city.
And failure to deliver what the city needed saw the City Council removed. For the past 2 years, it's been run by commissioners, appointed by the government, not the people. Some say democracy here has died.
Remove the commissioners and get us back to a democracy would be the number one priority in Tauranga.
And several candidates want the commissioners gone.
When I knock on doors, there's a lot of ratepayers out there that say they want local democracy back.
If they really believe that they have a plan that will provide Tauranga what it needs, then they should resign their commission and run in a democratic election.
Commission Chair Anne Tolley has heard the criticism.
I perfectly understand that, and I don't think any of us commissioners want to be here permanently. We see that this is just a moment in time.
She says she'll work with whoever wins Tauranga on fulfilling the city's needs.
It's mainly transport infrastructure, mainly focused around what is important not just to Tauranga but important to the whole of New Zealand, and that's access to and from the port and then the quality of life of our residents here.
Tolley's met with all the by-election candidates, all of them except for one.
The national candidate didn't take you up on that offer. Are you concerned by that?
Well, I do know that he had his deputy leader in town with him that day, and a good candidate always does what the leadership tells them to do.
ACT's candidate did meet with Tolley despite a controversial comment comparing her to Marie Antoinette. The power has gone to her head, said Luxton, and we say off with it.
Do you stand by using that choice of words?
Yes, of course I do. Clearly I'm not advocating violence for people. This is, it's concerning that some people have played up on that.
I understand that, and I understand it's a metaphor, but we have just had a protest outside Parliament where people were calling for politicians to be beheaded. So was that an appropriate choice of words?
Yes. Yeah, well, like I say, she's the Marie Antoinette of Tauranga, And I stand by my statement that we need to remove that power.
Regardless of what's going on at council, the by-election is a chance for voters to have a say. And though Tauranga has an early favourite, nearly a third of voters are undecided as early voting opens today.